Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome to our short educational session. Today we will discuss about the fundamental concept in leadership and organizational behavior. Number 1, power and politics. Number 2, conflict and negotiations. More specially, I will define what is power and examine its two major types: formal power and personal power in leadership and organizational behavior. What is power? In simple terms, power is the capacity or ability to influence the behavior of others, control, resource, or make decisions. It plays a critical role in every organization, relationship, and leadership dynamic. Power is not just about authority, it's about influence, trust, and effectiveness. Now, we'll talk about two major types: power, formal power, personal power. The first type is formal power. The power is this power is granted by an organization or system. It comes from one's official position or title. There are three main forms of formal power: legitimate power, reward power, coercive power. The second type is personal power. Personal power does not depend on a title, it is derived from an individual's characteristics, abilities, and relationships. There are two main types: expert power, referent power. To conclude, power is the ability to influence others and it exists in two key forms: formal power and personal power.
The source of power grouping into two types, their personal power and formal power. Now I am talking about the formal power. Formal power can be three types: coercive power, reward power, and legitimate power. Coercive power is depend on a fear of negative result from a failing of the compliance. Reward power is opposite of the coercive power, that based on the ability to distribute the power among the other people, and that can be valuable from the other's view. Legitimate power is refers to the positional power in the hierarchy of a organization. In brief, we can talking about the coercive power. This has two sides there: psychological and organizational level. Psychological level refers to the threat, and organizational level refer to the suspension and demotion as well. We're talking about the reward power is the opposite of the coercive power, and it is also two types. This is financial and non-financial. Financial is referred to the increase of pay rate and bonus, and non-financial recognition the position of the people and promotion of the employee. Legitimate power is broader than coercive power and reward power. It is the most common power in an organization. Principal speaks to the teacher and they comply the principal order. This is referred to the legitimate power.
Many people can have power, even if they are not manager and they have no formal power. What they have the personal power, which comes from a person's unique characteristics. Personal power can be based on two important factors: expert power and referent power. Expert power comes from a person's skill, knowledge, and expertise in a particular area. For example, an IT professional who knows the latest programming language and technology trend, he may not be in the managerial role, but his deep expertise can give him expert power. Referent power comes from the respect, admiration, and personal relationship one builds with others, and this derived from charisma, likability, and strong interpersonal relationship. For example, a supervisor may not have the highest title, but their ability to connect with workers can give them power, and this is referent power. Now, how do people use this power? They use the power by political behavior. Political behavior are the activities that are not required as part of person's formal role in the organization, but that influence or attempt to influence the distribution of the advantage and disadvantage within the organization. Political behavior is often negative, but not always. Building a strong work relationship with networking is an example of positive political behavior. And taking credit for others' work, blaming others for mistake, etc. are the negative political behavior.
Now I am going to talking about the factor contributing to political behavior in an organization. Have you ever wondered why workplace politics exist? Political behavior in an organization is influenced by both individual and organizational factors, leading to outcomes such as reward and averted punishment. Let's break it down. Here, individual factors it includes personal traits like adaptability, confidence, manipulation tendencies, career ambitions, and belief in success drive political behavior. Firstly, let's talk about the individual factors. Certain personal traits and perception make employees more likely to engage in political behavior. This includes number one, high self motivator who are good at adapting their behavior, and second one is internal locus of control, meaning they are believe they control their own destiny. Number three, high Machiavellian personality who makes them more strategic and manipulative. Number four, organizational investment. When people have a lot to lose, they play politics. Number five, perceived job alternatives. Those who see many job opportunities may feel fear to engage in politics. And finally, the sixth one is expectation of success. Those who believe that they will benefit from political behavior are more likely to engage in it. And the second one is organizational factor. Workplace conditions such as competition for resources, unclear role, low trust, performance pressure, and self-serving leadership create political environment. The organization itself plays a big role here, and here's how. Number one, reallocation and resource and promotion opportunities create competition. Low trust and ambiguity makes employees uncertain. Unclear performance evaluation system and zero reward practice force employees to fight recognition. Democratic decision making can sometimes lead to manipulation. Five, high performance pressure push employees to use any means necessary. And the last one is self-serving senior managers set the tone for workplace politics.
Hello everyone, I am Rahul Roy. My ID is B102022166. So our next chapter is conflict and negotiation. So what do we mean by conflict? Conflict is a process. It begins when one party perceives that the other party has negatively affected or about to negatively affect that the first party cared about. For example, we can say two co-workers in an organization clash because one likes to work freely while other likes to plan each and everything. So this creates problem to them and this slow down the work. So based on effect, we can divide conflict into two parts. First one is functional conflict, another one is dysfunctional conflict. So what do we mean by functional conflict? Functional conflict means conflict that support the goal of group and that improve the performance of the group. For example, we can say in a group project, everyone share their ideas and talk nicely and they choose the best ideas and as a result, they can do a better job. So, on the other hand, dysfunctional conflict means conflict that hinders the group performance. For example, we can say in a group project, one member doesn't listen to anyone. Moreover, he wants to do his job in his own way. So, this creates problem to that group and the group can't finish the work in time. So, our major types of conflict are three types. First one is relationship conflict, next one task conflict, and then process conflict. So what do we mean by relationship conflict? So conflict based on interpersonal relationship is called relational conflict. For example, in an organization, two co-workers do not like each other. Moreover, they want promotion. So they blame each other for even a minor issue. So our next one is task conflict. This means conflict over content and goal of the work. For example, we can say in a group, one thinks that they should finish the work with its full of quality. The quality should be maintained properly. But the other thinks that we should finish the work quickly rather than supporting the quality of the work. So this is called the task conflict. So our next one is process conflict. So conflict over how work gets done is called process conflict. For example, we can say in a group, one thinks that we should use the statistical data, while the other thinks that we should use the real life example. So the process of the work is causes the process conflict.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Nusrat Jahan Sharna. Today I will talk about the conflict process. The conflict process is a series of stages that a conflict typically follows, forms its emergence to its resolution. It helps in understanding how conflict develop and how they can be managed or resolved effectively. The conflict process has 5 stages: potential, oppositions or incompatibility, cognitions and personalization, intentions, behavior, and outcomes. The first stage involves the presence of conditions that create opportunities for conflict, such as communication issues, personal differences, structural differences. At the second stage, individuals or groups recognize that a conflict exists. It may remain a perception, leading to stress or anxiety. If the issue is recognized early, it might be resolved before it escalating. The third stage involves how individuals decide to handle the conflict. Common conflict handling intentions include competing, collaborating, avoiding. This is a critical stage where conflict can escalate if not managed properly. The fourth stage, where the conflict becomes visible through action, such as debates, arguments, aggression. The last stage, increase or decrease group performance, such as improved solving problem, better decision making, lower morally reduced teamwork. Understanding those helps in effectively managing conflict in personal, professional, and organizational settings. That's it. Thanks to everyone for listening.
Loci of conflict. The way of understand the locus of conflict. Loci of conflict generalize into 3 types: dyadic conflict, intergroup conflict, intergroup conflict. Dyadic conflict generally is called when 2 people are into conflict. Intragroup conflict is occurs within the groups of teams. Intergroup conflict occurs between the groups of teams. Conflict management techniques, problem solving techniques. Meeting face to face with the purpose for identifying and resolve it. Superordinate goals, creating shared goals can't attain without the cooperation of conflicting parties. Expansion, expanding the supply of scarce resources like money, promotion, opportunity. Avoidance. Having each of the parties give up something of values. Authoritative command. Letting management use some authoritative power to resolve the conflict. Altering human variable. Changes in human behavior, human relationship training to change the attitudes which cause the conflict. Alter the structural variable. Changing the structural variable through job redesign, promotion, etc. Management conflict stimulation. Communication by ambiguous messages or threatening messages which can stimulate the conflict. Bringing in outsiders. Bringing in outsiders means employ some employers from different backgrounds, perceptions, or ideology, philosophy, which can increase the conflict. Critic and or appointing a devil's advocate. And appointing a devil advocate means appointing a critic who can purposely argue against the measure or a large portion of employers, which can increase the conflict of the organization.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Ritu Bishwash. Today we are focused in on the negotiation process. There are 5 processes. First of all, preparation and planning. Second one, definition of ground rules. Third one, clarification and justification. Fourth one, bargaining and problem solving. And the last one, closure and implementation. Preparation and planning involves thoroughly researching situation, understanding goals and other parties' potential position, identifying BATNA. Ground rules establish the parameters of negotiation, including the agenda, time constant, and communication protocols. Clarification and justification. Clarification and justification explain their needs, interests, and position, providing rationale for their demands. Bargaining and problem solving. This is where the actual negotiation takes place, involving offering concession, exploring compromises, and finding mutual acceptable solution. And the last one, closure and implementation. Once an agreement is reached, it is formalized and steps are taken to ensure its successful implementation. Thanks all for today. Assalamu alaikum everyone.